Done. This looks great. Now to find a nice place to put it.
Nancy, hey, how's the investigation going?
Pretty well. You know, it would really help if I could get May to talk to me.
She hasn't given her alibi yet.
No, and everyone seems to have one, except her.
Everyone? Is it possible that it could be someone from outside of town? A visitor or something?
Absolutely. But statistically speaking, crime is rarely a random occurrence.
It's a mystery to me. You have anything you wanted to talk about?
What's the history behind the Hathorne estate?
Right. Well, Judge John Hathorne was born and raised in Salem. His father was a decorated military man who had many real estate holdings throughout New England. And when Judge Hathorne became a justice, he tried to expand those holdings. Much of the land that the Hathorne estate was built on was actually seized property from accused witches.
So awful. I think the land stealing part was even mentioned in Olivia's tour.
Didn't expect her to actually care about the history. At the time, no one made the connection, not even in court documents. But it happened.
Do you think the fire is somehow related to Salem's history with witches?
What do you mean?
Like, is it meant as a symbolic gesture? Because that's how most witches died?
That was a European thing. No, they were more civilized in the New World. We hung our witches. Short drop, so they slowly choked to death. A couple more died in custody awaiting trial, and one, an elderly man who refused to testify, was pressed to death.
Pressed?
Yeah. They put a bunch of heavy stones on top of you, over a period of days.
That's horrible.
She did not know the weight until she felt the freedom. Scarlet letter. Also a descendant of Judge Hathorne. Except Nathaniel Hawthorne was so horrified with his family's history that he added a W to change it.
Wow. The focus on descendants isn't really something they teach you in school.
Yep. We think our world is so much more advanced now, but we have a hard time escaping our past.
Where were you on the night of the fire?
I was at my boyfriend's watching a movie. Here, this is his number. You can ask him.
Have you been dating Damien for a long time?
Yeah, a couple years, I think. I like him. I mean, I really do. He listens to me, and yeah, he's great.
Was he with you the whole night?
I mean, most of the night. I don't think he's capable of arson, if that's what you're suggesting.
You trust him?
Absolutely, 100%. Go ahead, call him. You'll see.
There was this photo tucked away in the guest room.
Now I'm really embarrassed. Such an awkward age.
Is that Olivia and Lauren in the picture with you?
Yeah, we were pretty tight back then. Had to take pictures.
I couldn't tell where it was taken. Do you remember? There were lots of books and candles.
It was probably the... I don't know. Books and candles are everywhere in Salem. It could be anywhere. It was years ago. I don't really remember.
How did Frances Tuttle come to own the property?
Ms. Tuttle bought it 30 years ago, cheap. It was falling apart. The former owners couldn't be located, so it was auctioned. She was a bit of a kooky lady living in a ruin like that, but she was kind. I mean, she took in Lauren like a daughter. That says something about someone, doesn't it?
I agree. Deirdre only mentioned it in passing, but you and Olivia used to be friends?
We were, and I guess it doesn't hurt to mention that Lauren was a part of our little group as well. But that was years ago.
So you don't get along now?
Things changed.
Did something happen?
I don't see why this is relevant. Aren't you supposed to be clearing my sister's name? She doesn't need more blame for things she didn't do.
What did she get the blame for before?
This town wants someone to blame for everything. She's different and gets singled out.
I want to know more about anyone who might have a motive for the fire. Maybe you can help if you know them, even as old friends.
I guess. Go on.
What can you tell me about Olivia?
What can I tell you about Olivia? I can tell you that I think her shtick is ridiculous. And that she's doing this town a disservice by selling this silly idea of broomsticks in this double toil and trouble version of witches. This is a place of real history, and she wants it to be a theme park.
Do you think she would have burned down the Hathorne house?
I suppose it would be good for business. People love a ruin.
Especially a haunted ruin.
She is pretty happy lighting fires. But I don't know. I only want my sister cleared.
I know. We're getting there. I can't help but think about the rumor Olivia talks about. The coven.
You shouldn't pay any attention to her stories. She just says whatever she thinks the crowd wants. Real history isn't interesting to Olivia.
So you never heard this rumor elsewhere?
I didn't say that. There are no witches in Salem. Just showy frauds and stupid kids doing stupid things. Don't trouble yourself with ancient history and rumors. There's a real kid in trouble who needs your help.
What can you tell me about Lauren?
Lauren is a piece of work. Olivia may pretend to be a witch, but Lauren thinks she's a witch, you know? They are as bad as each other. The real legacy and history of Salem is what's important, not over-the-top stories and hokey potions and lotions.
So you don't go to her shop?
I've never been in, but I've had the tea. My advice? Stay away from the senna leaf. Can ruin your whole day.
Do you think she would burn down Hathorne House?
I don't know. Maybe. If she thought it would help her stay on the grounds. She certainly doesn't want anyone else having it, even if there are historical and legal reasons. But like I said, I don't really know her that well anymore.
Do you remember what you were doing 3 nights ago?
3 days ago? Well, I was probably working here. Why?
You were working at the museum. Can anyone confirm that?
Well, I'm always here.
But was anyone else here?
May was home all day, laying low, and Olivia wasn't here either. I don't know where she was, to be honest. You'll have to ask her.
So no one can confirm that? And you're sure May was at home?
She's barely left the house since the incident. People here treat her like she has an infectious disease. It's awful. And I don't blame her if she wants to sit at home on her phone all day. Ugh. Her parents need to come home. Soon. So, I gotta ask. What do you get out of this?
I get a lot.
Really? You travel around, talk to all these people, deal with all their problems, put yourself in harm's way?
Not always. All right, some of the time. I don't know. It's like there's these small obstacles that I enjoy working on, and they're interesting. But what I really love is the puzzle of humanity. What makes people tick? Why do people do what they do? It's always the hardest one to crack, because sometimes we do things that don't make sense. We're inherently irrational. Know what I mean?
You know, there's a theory about why these specific women were persecuted as witches. Some people believe that ergot, which is a fungus that grows in cereal grains, might have gotten into the food supply. It poisons anyone who eats it. Hallucinations, circulation issues, seizures. It would have made people look like they were possessed. Or made the judges think they were doing God's will. Or make the whole town go haywire.
A rational explanation for irrational behavior.
Just a theory. We'll never know. Anyway, I don't want to keep you. Thanks for stopping by.
Do you have any more information about the Salem witch trials?
Did the exhibitions manage to spark your interest?
They did. I found this display showing the ancestry of the accused, but it didn't seem fully complete. I was wondering if you had more information stored here somewhere.
Well, we do have the upper floor, which is also where I keep most of my accused witches' stuff.
Would it be okay for me to go up there? I'd really like getting a better picture of the history of Salem.
Usually we don't allow people up on the second floor. It's restricted. But maybe just this once I can make an exception. You are here to help, after all. So if you think it would benefit you, feel free to go up there.
Thank you.
I'll open the door for you. It's actually really cool. The stairs are hidden behind a bookcase. Hold on.
Someone's a busy bee. Old court protocols, ancestry records. Tegan is really digging deep into the witch trials.
I knew you couldn't resist.
Yes, you are correct, Jason. I could not.
I'm open tomorrow night. Or tonight. Or right now. Lady's choice.
How about 3 nights ago?
Wait, we already went on a date?
Definitely not.
Oh,
Where were you on the night Hathorne house was burned?
oh, right. I was,
Do you remember?
yeah, it's coming to me. Primal Cuts.
I'm sorry.
It's a steakhouse. I was there with my dad. Great steak, very expensive. He'll tell you. So, if we haven't been on a date yet, does that mean we're going to go on one in the future?
No, thank you. I have another question for you.
Yes, it's true. I'm single.
I actually wanted to know what you were doing 3 days ago.
Are you sure that's what you want to know?
Yes,
I was actually digging out a stump in Alicia Cole's backyard.
you. Digging out a stump.
What? Yeah. Not my favorite pastime, but I can't really say no to the money. I mean, it gives a good tan. Ladies can't say no to a hot bod.
Okay.
You don't believe me? Oh, maybe you should ride with me to the beach. I can show you.
No thanks.
No, thank you.
See you later. As you know, I want to investigate the crime scene. Could you give me the code for the keypad?
That information isn't usually available to the public. I'm afraid I can't just take your word for it. I'll have it taken care of.
Whoa, what? We don't knock anymore?
You left your door open.
Actually, that was Damien Faulkner. He's my intern.
You have an intern. I haven't seen him.
He's around. Someone has to make the coffee here. I'm swamped most days, and I could barely trust Judge Danforth with a flashlight.
Oh, I mean, he's not that inept.
You're right. That was mean. Anyway, what can I help you with?
Do you know Lauren Holt?
Owner of Luminous Infusions. Resident of the Hathorne Estate Carriage House.
So do you know her?
Absolutely. I represent her.
How's the case going?
Well, that's a bit of a confidentiality issue. But you are the daughter of a lawyer. So, without a will, there is no case. No one has been able to find it.
And without the will, the house goes to the state.
The law is the law. I can try to get a delay. But we've already delayed twice, and the state doesn't care that someone lives there. It's a tough world out there.
I spoke with Lauren. She mentioned you have a key
A key?
to the Hathorne house.
It's the only copy. Don't lose it. Oh, and this really isn't supposed to be in your hands. If someone finds you with it, I might have to say you stole it.
I'll make sure to be discreet. Thanks.
Here to help, Nancy. Hey, next time, please knock before entering, okay?
See you later.
What do we want? Justice. When do we want it?
Creepy. Yes! These snapdragons are lovely. At least some of them survived the fire. Locked. The key should fit, but the door and lock are awry. The door needs more leverage. This ought to help me out. Locked. Now this is more like it. There we go. Now it fits. A brand new jacket? Who would leave this behind? Oh, hello. A business card. Francis Tuttle needed this medical machine to stay alive. I wonder what will happen to it now. An old secretary desk. Roaring 20s, maybe. An old secretary desk. Roaring 20s, maybe. There's something peculiar about this mirror. Someone painted laurels on the mirror glass, but why? An old secretary desk. Roaring 20s, maybe. A letter written in Francis Tuttle's own hand. The walls are still smoldering from the fire. It's making my eyes water. The entire second floor has burned down. Looks unstable. Not going any further than this.
Hello?
Is this Damien Faulkner?
Yeah? Who is this?
Hi, my name is Nancy Drew. I'm a private investigator currently working the Hathorne house case on behalf of Judge Danforth. Do you mind if I take up a minute of your time?
Go ahead.
Just wanted to follow up on some statements.
Statements made by whom?
Tegan Perry,
Yes?
your girlfriend.
Right.
Where were you?
Sorry, but were these statements given to the police?
No. They were given to me, willingly.
Yeah, sorry. I work for Alicia, and I've learned to make sure that when you're being questioned, you always have a lawyer present. I don't want to sound like I'm guilty or complicit, I just know my rights.
Of course.
But you sound trustworthy.
Oh, thanks. How long have you worked for Alicia?
I've interned for her for a while, but she doesn't really pay attention to me.
You seem to know a lot about legal framework.
I listen to her on the phone. A lot. Anyway, I was with Tegan on the night of the fire. That's what you wanted to know, right?
Yeah. And what did you guys do?
Watched a movie.
Okay. Which movie?
Honestly, couldn't tell you. Tegan picked. You know, they're always some kind of vampire drama, apocalyptic, teenagey, angsty thing. Don't tell her, but I never pay attention. I'm into hard sci-fi.
Oh, good to know.
Anything else, or?
No. Thanks for talking to me.
Yeah, sure. Bye.
Done. This looks great. Now to find a nice place to put it.